Hey everyone, welcome back to all my listeners. This is episode 6 in season 17. Today is Wednesday, March 11th, 2026. My name is Sonal Patel, and this is the Paint the Medical Picture podcast series. All right, you guys, well, welcome back. It is the second week of March, and I hope my audience is doing well. I know March has been topsy-turvy up here in the Midwest in terms of temperature, ups and downs. It's cold one day, warm the next. We're expecting a little more snow at the end of this week. So things are crazy per usual here in this region. So I hope you guys are enjoying whatever the weather is in your area. And remember to, hopefully you all should have spring forwarded on Sunday. And so we should be looking forward to extra sunlight through the month of October. So I know I'm really, really happy about that. But of course, it takes a minute to get used to, but nothing like the jet lag from the time change that happens when you go all the way to India and back. But I know some of us are still going to be tortured with that time change for the spring forward. But anyways, you guys, hope you guys are doing well. And as you know, it's the second week of the month. And that means I'm going to be featuring the OIG Work Plan updates for the month of February 2026. And in my Trusty tip, I'm going to focus on a moratorium or a hold that was just issued by CMS for DMEPOS suppliers. And I'll unpack that in my Trusty tip. And of course, I'm going to go ahead and close out and round out today's episode with another remarkable quote on beauty, abundance, and innovation by Aaron Rose. All right, you guys, let's get into it. So in today's Newsworthy, the month of February's OIG Work Plan updates, there are 4 updates that were made to the OIG Work Plan for the month of February 2026. Now, the first is titled Select States' Use of Healthcare-Related Taxes as the State Share of Medicaid Expenditures. Now, this report is coming from the Office of Audit Services. States increasingly use healthcare-related taxes instead of state general funds to finance their share of Medicaid expenditures. Healthcare-related taxes allow states to grow their Medicaid programs without increasing their general fund contribution. Federal Medicaid coverage is generally limited to U.S. citizens, U.S. nationals, and qualified non-citizens. Individuals without satisfactory immigration status are not eligible for full-scope federal Medicaid benefits, but they are eligible for emergency services funded under Medicaid. States may elect to provide healthcare coverage beyond emergency services, which means additional healthcare coverage for individuals who do not qualify for Medicaid, including undocumented immigrants using state-only funds. OIG's data brief will provide information about selected states' use of federal Medicaid reimbursement obtained through healthcare-related taxes. It will also identify state-funded healthcare programs that provide services in addition to emergency services under Medicaid to individuals who do not meet Medicaid eligibility requirements. Now, this final report is expected in fiscal year 2028. Now, the second OIG Work Plan update made for the month of February 2026 is titled Ensuring Dual Eligible Enrollees Access to Drugs Under Part D, Mandatory Review. Now, this report is expected from the Office of Evaluation and Inspections. Dual eligible enrollees are enrolled in both Medicaid and Medicare and receive prescription drug coverage under Medicare Part D. As long as Part D plans meet certain limitations outlined in 42 CFR Section 423.120, Part D sponsors have discretion to include Part D drugs in their formularies. As required under Section 3313 of the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act, the OIG will conduct an annual study of the extent to which formularies used by Medicare Part D plans include drugs commonly used by dual eligible enrollees. Now, this particular study will focus on Part D plans 2026 formularies. This final report is expected again in fiscal year 2028. Now, the third OIG Work Plan update made for the month of February 2026 is titled Implementation and Effectiveness of Nursing Home Pharmacy Service Internal Controls to Prevent Opioid Overuse, Misuse, and Diversion. Now, this report is expected from the Office of Audit Services. Pharmaceutical services are an integral part of the care required to meet the needs of each nursing home resident. Nursing homes must provide pharmaceutical services, including procedures that assure the accurate acquiring, receiving, dispensing, and administering of all drugs. Nursing homes are also required to, number 1, store all drugs in locked compartments. Number 2, permit only authorized personnel to have access to the keys to secured areas. And finally, number 3, to provide separately locked, permanently affixed compartments for storage of Schedule II controlled drugs. Now, state survey agencies cited almost half of nursing homes nationwide for pharmaceutical services deficiencies during recent complaints and standard health inspections. Now, if effective systems and procedures to ensure the safe and effective use of medications are not implemented, over 150,000 nursing home residents who receive opioids could be at risk for overuse, misuse, or diversion. The OIG will determine whether selected state agencies ensured that nursing homes, number 1, complied with federal and state pharmacy service requirements to prevent the overuse of opioids by Medicaid and Medicare residents, and number 2, if they implemented effective internal controls to prevent the misuse or diversion of opioids. Now, this final report is expected in fiscal year 2028. Now, the fourth and final OIG Work Plan update made for the month of February 2026 is titled Audit of State Medicaid Claims Reimbursed at the Enhanced FMAP Rate of 100%. Now, this report is expected from the Office of Audit Services. Approximately 1.3 million American Indians and Alaska Natives, AI/ANs, are enrolled in state Medicaid programs. The Social Security Act indicates that states will receive 100% federal medical assistance percentage, or FMAP, for Medicaid health services provided to eligible AIs and ANs through an Indian Health Service, or IHS facility, whether operated by IHS or by a tribe or tribal organization. The OIG will determine whether the state agency claimed Medicaid AI or AN services that are eligible for reimbursement at the enhanced 100% FMAP rate in accordance with federal and state requirements. Now, this final report is expected in fiscal year 2028. And now it's time for my best practice tips in Trusty Tip. So a moratorium or a hold was just issued for all DMEPOS suppliers. Specifically, on February 27th, CMS implemented a temporary nationwide enrollment moratorium on durable medical equipment, prosthetics, orthotics, and supplies, medical supply companies. Again, those are our DMEPOS medical supply companies. The moratorium will remain in effect for 6 months and may be extended in 6-month increments. Now, in it, CMS states that they will deny any initial enrollment or change in majority ownership applications submitted that violate requirements until the moratorium ends. Now, there are more details that include, quote, the Secretary of Health and Human Services will restrict new enrollments in Medicare. This happens when the Secretary decides it is necessary to prevent Medicare fraud, waste, and abuse. This temporary nationwide enrollment moratorium is issued for the following DMEPOS medical supply companies. Now, specifically, the medical supply company with orthotics personnel, the medical supply company with PED orthotic personnel, the medical supply company with prosthetics personnel, the medical supply company with prosthetic and orthotic personnel, the medical supply company with registered pharmacist, and finally, the medical supply company with respiratory therapist. The moratorium applies to initial applications. This includes non-exempt changes in majority ownership, or CIMOs, under 42 CFR 424.551. Any such applications submitted by medical supply companies after the implementation of the moratorium will be denied, end quote. Now, of course, CMS has already put out a great FAQ sheet on this new hold, and I wanted to highlight just 2 of the questions that CMS answers directly. The first question, does a moratorium affect existing enrolled providers and suppliers? And CMS is saying no. Moratoria typically only affect new enrollment applications. Existing enrolled providers and suppliers can generally continue to participate in Medicare. They can continue to submit claims for covered services, and they can make certain changes to their enrollment information, end quote. So that's a very nice, concise answer to the question. So this only applies, again, to our new enrollment applications. Number two, the second question posed to the CMS is, can suppliers submit initial enrollment applications during a moratorium period? The answer by CMS is, quote, initial enrollment applications submitted during a moratorium will be denied, and the application will need to be resubmitted once the moratorium is lifted. Existing providers and suppliers should continue to comply with all changes of information and revalidation reporting requirements. The moratorium only impacts new enrollments and not ongoing compliance obligations, end quote. Now, you can find much more information that is published on the Federal Register, as well as the MLN Connects issue for March 5th, 2026. And finally, I focus a brand new Season 17 Spark on beauty, abundance, and innovation. So in this week's inspiring quote in Spark is from Erin Rose. In the right light, at the right time, everything is extraordinary. So very true, right? I love this quote on beauty. This quote reflects something I've always believed to be true. We are all extraordinary in every phase of life. Whether we recognize it or not, someone considers us beautiful inside and out. When we step back and zoom out, or when we look at something up close, depending on if we're looking down at tea plantations or farmland in an airplane, or if we look at snowflakes on our pup's nose. In the right light, at the right time, everything is extraordinary. I'm happy Erin Rose's spark burns brightly and can still inspire so very many. All right, you guys, that wraps up today's short and sweet episode. I just want to wish you guys a very, very nice week ahead. I hope you have lots of possibilities opening up for you, and you're getting all of the right things coming your way, whether it is for your personal life, whether it is for your business ventures, everything that is meaningful to you. I wish you the very, very best. All right, you guys, thanks so much for listening on today's episode. And I hope every week with me brings you closer to helping your providers paint a masterpiece. See you next Wednesday.